Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing my favorite metal albums, counting down from number 10. So before I get into that, I'd like to thank you all in person as we hit over 100 subscribers the other week. Uh, that is crazy considering I started this thing off just doing little covers of Bullet songs and stuff just to see if I could do it. Um, to taking it a little bit more seriously, and then a couple of collaborations, and the likes started to come in, and a couple of people, you know who you are, started sharing my videos and stuff, and people started subscribing. So I hope you're really enjoying the content. I absolutely love doing the videos. I love seeing your comments. So yeah, here's to the next 200. Hey, before I go, actually, this is a little bit difficult for me because there are so many heavy metal albums that I enjoy. Um, this is the 10 that came to mind right now. It's a little bit across the board. I've tried to do stuff that's like all-time favorite, some stuff that's like played a massive role in, teaching me how to play guitar, basically. So number 10, Firepower, Judas Priest. Judas Priest came along for me a little bit later. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I skipped that, but hey, the first thing I'd heard stuff like Painkiller and Breaking the Law. As far as getting into an album that was like a full-on introduction to them, it would be Firepower. Richie Faulkner is an absolute monster on it. And the writing as a whole, I mean, the fact that Rob Halford is still singing like that, and he's, what, is he in his 70s now or something? And he's probably up there with my favorite heavy metal vocalists as well. Tracks that stand out on this one: No Surrender, Never the Heroes, which I did a cover of. It's up on my channel with a little bit of improv at the end of it if you want to go check that out. Rising from Ruins, I think, was probably the first one that I heard. Great guitar solo intro. As a matter of fact, all the guitar solos on that song, they're just brilliant. Richie Faulkner really knows how to channel his influence. Like, he takes stuff from Michael Schenker, he takes stuff from Jimi Hendrix, and Zakk Wylde, all the guys, and he blends it into one, and it works. It's melodic. It's not just mindless shredding. He talks a lot in his interviews about how he composes his solos, and he goes, well, this is kind of like a Michael Schenker thing, and then this is a Hendrix thing. You can definitely hear the influence, but it still sounds like him, and he makes it work. So yeah, great album. Next one, number 9, No More Tears, Ozzy Osbourne. I do like No Rest for the Wicked as well, which is Zach's debut with Oz, but for me, I think this album definitely has more of an edge. As a matter of fact, I suppose No Rest for the Wicked is a little bit more of a metal record than this one, so I'm not really sure if it counts, but it's got all the heavy guitar parts and solos and stuff like that, so it's on here. Songs that stick out to me: Hellraiser, just that slow intro, and Zach comes in with a really pinchy riff. You just know it's him straight away in the guitar solo. As a matter of fact, every guitar solo on that album, absolutely flawless. There's Desire on that album, which I actually did a cover of, but it's been blocked by YouTube. But it's on my Instagram. If you go on my Instagram and you scroll back a little bit, there's the full cover of Desire on there. Got the guitar solo going on in it and everything. It's a bit of an older cover, so the editing might not be where it's at now, but I was really proud of that one. I was devastated because I put a lot of work into the solo, and the skin of my fingers was starting to wear away and everything, trying to play like Zach, or do his solo justice. So yeah, so there's that one. Again, the lead tones, just, it's all in the hands with Zach. You just know it's him. And I know he gets a bad rap for just being like pentatonic and it's all the same, but hey, when he comes in with a solo, it just puts a smile on my face. I can't explain it. So yeah, some of Oz and Zach's best work on that album, I think. Okay, so number 8. This is a new one, and I've actually been doing some covers off of this recently. Deadweight by a band called Wage War. I got into this band again sort of in the last 2 years, and it was one of those where as soon as I heard it, I fell in love with it. It didn't take any sort of couple of lessons or stuff like that. It wasn't a grow. It was just like, okay, done. I think the first song I heard was Stitch, and we were literally about to see them at Slam Dunk Festival. I was there obviously because Bullet My Valentine were headlining, so it's like, yeah, there. So it was a bonus that Wage War were there, and we were listening to them in the morning in the hotel room, and I heard Stitch, and it was really good, really good, really good. And then all of a sudden they drop at the end. They pitch shift the guitars down for a breakdown, and I was like, "Whoa, man! I don't know if I'm new to this or what, but that drop was just so heavy." And I couldn't figure out how they were doing it because they're playing 6 string guitars, so it wasn't like they were playing it for 6 for the whole thing and then jumping down to the 7 string. I saw Wager War a little time after again in Manchester this year, actually, the start of this year when concerts was still a thing. And I spoke to Cody and he said it's all in the camper. The camper just pitch shifts it down at the end. And he uses an 80 gauge on the bottom string, which is practically a bass string. So it's not like spaghetti. So I did the same thing for my cover of it. I just used an automated pitch drop, which worked. So yeah, songs on that album, Disdain, I threw out a cover of that as well. That's on my channel as well. That again does the whole big drop at the end where it's all shifted down and it's even lower. And then lastly, the last track on the album is called Johnny Cash. And it's really sad. But if you like all those sad, heartbreaky, ballady kind of things, yeah, Johnny Cash is a fantastic song, and lyrically it's quite clever. There's great use of like clean tones and stuff like that on that one. And also, I love 2 vocalist bands. So Cody and Britton, who are absolutely brilliant vocalists. Like Britton's like got all the screams going on. Kind of like a 2013 Danny Worsnop thing going on. It's all coming from here. And Cody, he sings like an angel, man. He sings so high, and it's great. It's such a great blend. So there you go. There's that album. So next one, number 7. Right, this is going to divide the room. This is one I got into when I was fairly young and sort of getting into metalcore and stuff. I didn't really know about sort of. I've never followed the crowd with music. I've always liked what I've liked, and that's it. Simple, right? So this is Reckless and Relentless by Asking Alexandria. Now, before you go, let me explain. There might be some Asking fans on here. There might not be. For me, it was an album that was just given to me. I put it on. I didn't have the internet back then, so I didn't source this stuff myself. Somebody just said, there you go, check it out. And I put it on, and I was like, whoa, that is heavy. If anything, it was a little bit too heavy for me because I kind of went in sort of stages with the heaviness with music. And now looking back, it really was, in a lot of ways, a perfect metalcore album. The production, Joey Sturgis, is perfect. Very flashy and shiny, I want to say. Danny Worsnop is probably one of my favorite singers of all time, especially around that era, and especially around sort of the coming off that into the Death to Destiny era, the 2013 era, where you could hear his voice was starting to like suffer from all the screaming and the cigarettes and the Jack Daniels and God knows what else. And yeah, it's just heavy and it's pummeling. Songs on there, More to Dabo. The high screams on that. The first time I heard that, it absolutely terrified me. Bear in mind being young, and I'd never heard anything like it before. So to anybody who's sort of not ready giving Asking Alexandria a chance, but they like metalcore and they like it heavy and like really good screams, which is what it's all about for me on that album. At least check out the last track, More to Dabo. And he sings really well in the choruses as well. Same thing on a song like Closure or Reckless and Relentless. They really were the perfect sort of design band by the record label. You can go and read interviews with Ben, and it's like the label sort of really created a monster machine out of that band who had the reputation and the heavy music to back it up. I think it really was a moment in time, and I don't think they could create another record like that, even if they wanted to, which they don't. So hey, it's great record. Next one, following on the metalcore theme, this is quite an important record for me personally. Uh, the Poison, Both My Valentine. This is difficult because it was a close one between that and Fever. And Fever is such a good polished album, which was the one that came out when I just got into them, if that makes sense. So that was like the next one to come along. But in terms of like what I sat with on my bedroom floor trying to work out all these riffs and stuff and the technicalities of stuff, The Poison is just absolutely flawless. Songs like Her Voice Resides. Well, never mind that. The intro alone with the who's the string group Apocalyptica, is it? With the clean guitar and yeah, that setup and then straight into Her Voice Resides and unusual song structures that I absolutely love. Not verse, chorus, bridge, outro. Um, Guitar solos all over the place. Heavy. Matt's voice was. You can hear how young he is listening back to it, which is really cool. But you can hear like the fire and like the hunger that band had at that point. Songs like The End as well. It's all about the clean guitar for me, mixed in with the heavy parts. Cries in Vain, again, another great song. The title track, it's got like, I think underneath at the outro and underneath the second chorus, there's just this ultimate metalcore kind of riff with all like the pull off sort of thing going on in it, which really defined the genre for me, I guess. Yeah, so very very important band, and they really, well, yeah, crafted, helped craft my guitar playing. So yeah, there's The Poison. Coming on now, number 5. Gosh, these were really hard to put in order because they all kind of sit the same for me, but here we go. Hymn of a Broken Man. That is an album by Times of Grace. And if you don't know who they are, it's Jesse Leach, Killswitch Engage, and Adam D, Killswitch Engage. And Adam wrote this album in his head while he was in hospital having back surgery, which is an art, I think, is it? Which is crazy, you know. It's produced and engineered by Adam as well, I believe, so it's got that really good, shiny metalcore kind of production on it. And it's just interesting to me, the songs themselves. There's some really heavy ones on there, like really good metalcore, but then there's some interesting ones, like End of Days, or Until the End of Days, I should say, and The End of Eternity as well. These really sort of moody, clean guitar passages, and I think it's tuned all the way down to drop A for the most part, so it's low as well. It doesn't sound like a Killswitch record, which you'd kind of expect, but it really doesn't. It's heavy. There's some Killswitchy stuff on there, I suppose, but you can tell it's kind of got a bit more of a an atmosphere, I want to say. There's a lot more clean guitar on there, a lot more sort of reverby passages, and again, two vocalist thing going on, which I absolutely love, when Adam and Jesse are kind of like batting off of each other. I think it's The End of Eternity, where Adam's kind of playing like the good side of the story, if you like, and then Jesse comes in with his low sort of soulful vocals, and he's kind of like almost like the devil in your ear almost. I think it's got a real sort of much more atmosphere than Killswitch, I think. As great as Killswitch are, I might add. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like clouds. I can't explain it. Look at the album cover. You'll get it. I don't know if it's like a synesthesia thing, but it kind of just reminds me of like grey, stormy weather, the whole album. As a matter of fact, Adam was once asked in an interview what he'd be doing if he wasn't a musician. He said he's heavily influenced, or rather interested, in the weather and stuff like that and forecasting. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but yeah, if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It's a great piece of work. So next at number 4, we've got what I think is the perfect heavy metal album ever, really, even though it's not at number 1. The Satanist by Behemoth. What can I say? How could you ever follow up from that? I mean, it's perfect. It's dark, it's heavy, it's got texture, it's not just tram picking right the way through. It's got all the themes and everything you'd expect from a Behemoth album. It's actually the first Behemoth album that I got into, actually, because they were a bit of a slow grow, but now that album to me is just flawless. Songs like right, here we go. They're all strange names. Messe Noir, which translates to a Black Mass. That's awesome because it's kind of like very traditional them, but then right at the end, it's kind of got like a big like black label jam at the end with a big guitar solo kind of thing going on with it. The last track, "O Father, O Satan, O Son," where the whole album comes full circle. It's kind of got this Led Zeppelin kind of riff going on with it. It's actually on my favorite Metal Riffs video, actually. And then the big outro, and you've got the choirs going, and yeah, it's absolutely huge. And if you see him doing it live as well, it's absolutely incredible. There's some really cool sort of thrashes on there. Ora pro nubis Lucifer. I can't believe I just managed to say that. It's got a really cool sort of breakdown riff in the middle. And there's a really cool swingy one called Ben Sahar. If you Google that, you get a footballer, by the way. I was looking for the lyrics. And there's apparently a footballer in the world called Ben Sahar. But yeah, anyways. Ben Sahar, it's kind of got like almost like a Perry Mason thing going on with it, like Ozzy Osbourne, like a swing sort of beat. Yeah, really cool. They really pushed the boundaries with that. When they followed it up with "I Loved You at Your Darkest," I think they kind of took the experimental direction of the Satanist and pushed it even further and did extremely well again. But yeah, the whole thing is just dark. It's heavy. Nurgle's amazing. I've read his book. If you like Nurgle Darsky, read his book. It's really interesting. It kept me entertained because usually I can't just sit and read. I get too fidgety, but it's just like question, answer. It's almost like an interview, but it kind of flows. So yeah, definitely check that out. And check the album out. If you haven't and you want to get into sort of darker metal, give it a go. The vocals might be a slow grow, but the guitar parts and stuff like that, you won't regret it. It's and live as well. Watch them live. I've seen them once, and then I watched the stream in absentia day over this COVID period that they did, and that was absolutely incredible too. So moving on, number 3. Right, this could have been any Metallica record, but I think when it boils down to it, it has to be this one. I think Master of Puppets, of course. Man, I wanted to say "Injustice for All." Then I wanted to say "Ride the Lightning." But for some reason, there's an atmosphere to this record, and I can't put my finger on it. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, there's a reason it's so big. It's got my favorite Metallica ballad on it, "Welcome Home Sanitarium." Some of my favorite Kirk solos on there as well. Disposable Heroes, one of my all-time favorites. Going down the track list, I was like, yep, favorite. Leper Messiah, again, gallopy riffs. The pre-chorus in Master of Puppets itself, the way James is sort of barking those lyrics out. The middle section, yeah, it's just incredible. Just the overall feel of it. And then in the middle, Orion, the instrumental, it's just so colourful. Especially that middle section when Cliff does his sort of bass breakdown, if you like, or interlude, and then the harmony guitar parts come in and stuff like that. There's just a magic to that record, and it's undeniable, and it's very stereotypical to say Master of Puppets, when I like Load, Reload, Saint Anger, all of it. But when it boils down to it, there had to be a Metallica record on here, of course, because they're just the most important band ever for me and my musical trip, if you like. It just has to be this record. It's just, yeah, there's a magic to it. And it's so tight as well. Yeah, so there we go. Metallica, Master of Puppets. Okay, next, number 2. Okay, this is probably, again, one of my, just like the Satanist, I guess, where the Satanist is the perfect black metal record. This is like the perfect hardcore, metalcore, heavy metal band album. I don't know what you call it. It's Vultures by Axewound. That's Matt Tuck's other band. We only got one record out of those guys, and whether we'll see another one, I don't know. I was writing down some of my favorite tracks when I was preparing for this video, and by the time I was done, I'd nearly written the whole track list down. It's just perfect. But then again, I like Matt Tuck, so what can I say? Everything he does is perfect to me. But but it's perfect. It's all drop A, heavy, low, and it's just got, I think the reason I like it is it's got everything I like about heavy metal. It's got low tune, sort of slow grooving riffs. It's got gallopy riffs. It's got very flashy sort of solos. It's got trem picking, and I love sort of trem pick like choruses and stuff like that. And it's dark, and again, it's a two vocalist album. Again, you've got Matt and then Liam from Cancerbat sort of like barking off of each other. Songs like X of Christ, which I've covered on my channel. Biggest chorus ever. It's got like a big Iron Maiden kind of chorus going on with it. And then that gallopy riff that made it to my favorite riffs video. Incredible. Burn Alive, it's just a heavy metal. It's just perfect. The breakdown in the middle. Church of Nothing, again, interesting intro with the bass kind of build up and sort of the time signature and stuff like that. Or I don't know if it's the time signature or it's a swing beat that's I don't know if it's a 4/4 swing or it's a 6/8. I'm not too sure. But either way, it's got a big breakdown in the middle with like a Thin Lizzy kind of guitar solo going on with it. There's a really cool sort of trem sort of riff going on in the middle of the song Destroy, which has got a huge chorus as well. And then of course the title track Vultures, it's got Sin Gates on it. I mean, like, first track on the album, then Sin Gates just smashes you in the face at the end with a crazy guitar solo. So yeah, it's perfect, and we'll probably never get to see another one, I doubt, because it's been so long. Or we might, who knows. But yeah, that takes number 2. Number 1, okay, we've made it. Slipknot, Iowa. What can I say? I think a lot of people would agree with me here. It's kind of like the heaviest album they've done. And again, it's just perfect. It's got everything that makes up Slipknot, but it's quite sort of groundbreaking in the fact that when you do a second record, you kind of lighten up and you go a bit more polished and stuff like that. Whereas when they went in to do their second record, they said, no, screw it. Let's make it heavier. Let's make it darker. Let's make it rougher. And you've got the producer, Ross Robinson, throwing plant pots at them in the middle of recording sessions and stuff like that. And then Corey's voice is absolutely on point. The guitar tones are absolutely crushing. Songs that I love, I Am Hated. When it sort of comes out of the second chorus and he's got that sort of kind of like almost like the way he sort of raps in a way. I want to say you can just nod your head to it so much. Disaster Piece, classic. I saw them at the beginning of this year with Behemoth, and when they went into that, the crowd went absolutely nuts. But that breakdown at the end of it, and just the way Corey is pouring his heart out. There's just no let up, and sort of like the emotional content on that album is as dark and as sad as you want it to be. I think Corey said there's elements of Iowa that we've always wanted to capture, but we could never rewrite a record like that. And then New Abortion as well. That's probably one of my favorite Slipknot songs on there. Just the really sort of strange chorus going on with it. Jim's kind of doing this really sort of pinchy riff, but Mick's just doing your standard 6-5-3 open thing underneath it. Yeah, it just works. It's heavy, and then the title track. If you've got 19 minutes? You got 19 minutes to spare, and you just want to listen to some really disturbing stuff. Iowa, that song, Dark. I think everybody knows the story about how that one was recorded with Corey sort of stripping off in the vocal booth and all the stuff that followed with it. So there you go, Iowa. What can I say? That's probably my favorite. No, it is. Well, hang on. All these albums, like I said, they could all sit, but I had to put them in some sort of an order for everyone. But when it boiled down to it, in terms of like a perfectly put together, rough metal album, it's got to be that for me. So there we are. If you want me to go into any more depth on any of these albums, let me know in the comments. If you want me to show you some riffs and stuff from them, I just thought I'd keep it a bit of a chat video today rather than going on this is my favorite riff and then having to change guitars out for different tunings and stuff like that. But if you want me to go into any of them a little bit more, just let me know. I want to thank you all again personally for the 100 subscribers plus, what we now 114 or something like that. Thank you so much. And of course, I would like to wish you all a happy holidays as well, because it is that time. Whatever you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, all that stuff. Or if you don't celebrate, I hope you just enjoy some time off to spend with your families or whatever. And I wish you all a very successful new year as well, if I don't do one of these beforehand. Follow me on Instagram as well. I've got loads of stuff, posts and polls and stuff there, and you can kind of see what my next video is going to be, because I can't do community posts on here yet. That's the best way to keep up to date with what I'm doing. And as always, here it comes. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a comment if you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite metal albums are. And leave a like, or maybe even subscribe if you're new here. To everybody who's new, huge welcome. To everybody who's been here since the beginning, thank you so much. I really hoped you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the holiday season. I'm out. Peace.